In Jerusalem, a major road project is underway, but it's not about easing traffic jams. Archaeologists are opening an ancient path that Jewish worshippers used 2,000 years ago.
Archaeologists weren't looking for this. They found a 2,000-year-old pathway that connects directly to the Temple Mount. What they discovered underneath changes everything about what we thought we knew. This isn't some theory. This isn't speculation. Last month, Israeli researchers uncovered ancient stones. Massive stones. The kind that haven't seen daylight in 2 millennia. And here's where it gets interesting. This discovery aligns with prophecies written thousands of years ago. Prophecies that describe exactly what's happening right now. We're talking about a road. But not just any road. This is the path. The actual path that connects directly to one of the most sacred sites on Earth. And when you hear what archaeologists found beneath it, you'll understand why prophecy experts are losing their minds. This changes everything. But first, you need to understand what this road actually is. So here's what happened. Researchers in Jerusalem were doing routine excavation work in the city of David. That's the ancient part of Jerusalem. The really old part. We're talking about areas that haven't been thoroughly studied in decades. During this dig, they found something unexpected. Stone pathways. Not small stones. We're talking about massive slabs of stone laid in perfect formation. These weren't modern. The dating is clear. These stones are from around 2,000 years ago. During the time of Jesus. During the time when pilgrims walked to the Temple Mount.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
Now here's the thing that's blowing people's minds. This road doesn't just exist randomly. It has a specific direction. It points directly toward the Temple Mount, the most significant location in Jewish history, the place where the ancient temple stood. But wait, there's more. When archaeologists started digging deeper, they found evidence of intentional construction. Not haphazard stones thrown together. This was engineered. This was planned. The slope is perfect for water drainage. The width is consistent throughout. Whoever built this knew what they were doing. Local authorities started examining historical records. Drawings from centuries ago. Maps from Pilgrim journals. And guess what they found? References to this exact road. Pilgrims from 1,500 years ago wrote about walking this path. They described it in detail. Stone by stone. But here's what makes this newsworthy right now. Recent construction projects in Jerusalem uncovered more sections of this ancient pathway. More proof. More evidence that this road is genuine. And then researchers started connecting dots. Historical dots. Prophetic dots. That's when things got really interesting. Because this road isn't just historically significant. It might be prophetically significant too. Before we go further, you need to understand something about biblical prophecy. Specifically, prophecies about the Temple Mount and the paths leading to it. In the book of Zechariah, there's a passage. Chapter 14. It talks about a future time when the Messiah returns. It describes how people will walk toward the Temple Mount. How the path will be made clear. How barriers will fall. Now, Jewish scholars have been studying this passage for thousands of years. They've debated what it means. Some say it's about a literal road. Others say it's metaphorical. But here's what's interesting. The language used is very specific about geography, about direction, about a pathway leading to the temple. Then there's Ezekiel, chapter 43. It talks about the way of the king, the path by which the future Messiah will enter Jerusalem. Scholars have argued about this for centuries. Where is this way? What does it look like? Here's where archaeology meets prophecy. This newly discovered road matches descriptions from ancient texts, not modern interpretations. The actual ancient writings. Historians who studied pilgrim accounts from the 1st and 2nd centuries found descriptions that match what archaeologists just uncovered. The direction matches. The construction style matches. Even the width mentioned in old documents matches what they found. Now, this could be a coincidence. Skeptics will say it's just an old road. Of course there were roads to the Temple Mount. That's obvious. Right. But here's the problem with that logic. For centuries, nobody knew exactly where this particular road was. It was lost. Forgotten. Buried under Jerusalem's modern development. Maps from the 1800s showed general locations, but not the exact path. Archaeologists had theories, but nothing concrete. Then suddenly, workers digging for utilities find it. In perfect condition. With clear dating. And immediately, it aligns with ancient descriptions. The timing is what's remarkable. The discovery. The current state of Israel. The recent political movements. The religious interest in the Temple Mount. All of this is happening simultaneously. And prophecy watchers are noticing. You might be wondering, why is this discovery getting so much attention now? Roads are found all the time. Archaeologists discover ancient structures constantly. So what makes this different? The answer has to do with timing and context. For the past several decades, access to the Temple Mount has been restricted. Religious tensions have made it difficult for researchers to excavate certain areas. Political situations have limited archaeological work. This 2,000-year-old road was essentially forgotten because nobody could dig where it was. But recently, that changed. New construction projects needed to happen. Infrastructure improvements. Water system upgrades. These projects required digging. And when they dug, they found this road. Here's what's important. The discovery happened during a specific geopolitical moment. Israel is experiencing unprecedented interest in its ancient history. Tourism is increasing. Religious organizations are investing in archaeological research. And prophecy communities are watching every discovery closely. When this road was found, it spread through prophecy circles within days. Not because it's hidden or secret, but because for a specific audience, this matters. This represents something tangible. Something physical that connects ancient prophecy to modern reality. Religious scholars started publishing papers. YouTube channels dedicated to biblical prophecy started creating content. Social media lit up with discussions. People were asking the same question. Could this be connected to the prophecies? But there's another reason this discovery is significant right now. The Temple Mount itself is in the news constantly. There are ongoing discussions about what should happen with it. Different religious groups have different claims, different visions for its future. When you add this newly discovered ancient road into that conversation, it changes the narrative. Suddenly, there's physical evidence of a specific pathway, a route that was used historically, a path that prophecies describe. For many people, especially those with deep religious faith, this feels like confirmation. Like the pieces are fitting together. Like something that was written thousands of years ago is becoming visible again. And that's when things get really intense. Let's talk about what the experts actually found. The hard evidence. The stuff that archaeologists can verify and measure. The road consists of stone blocks. Large limestone blocks. Some weighing over 500 pounds each. These aren't irregular rocks. They're hewn, cut, shaped deliberately. The craftsmanship is evident. Dating the stones is straightforward. Archaeologists use multiple methods. Pottery shards found nearby date to the 1st century. Carbon dating of organic material in the soil confirms the timeline. The construction technique matches known Roman and Herodian era methods. Everything points to the same period. Around 2,000 years ago. The path itself is approximately 12 feet wide. That's a significant width, not a narrow footpath. This was designed for groups. For processions potentially. For many people walking together. And here's what's fascinating. The slope of the road is engineered perfectly. It angles downward toward the Temple Mount at about a 3-degree grade. That's the exact angle needed for drainage. For preventing water from pooling. Someone knew what they were doing when they built this. The direction is precise. From the city of David, it runs directly toward the Temple Mount's eastern side. There are no unnecessary turns. No winding paths. It's direct. Intentional. Archaeologists also found remnants of a wall running alongside the road. A retaining wall probably. To keep the elevated ground from collapsing. Over 2,000 years, this wall deteriorated. But enough remains for researchers to understand the original construction. What's remarkable is the preservation. Most of this road was covered by dirt and rubble for centuries. That actually protected it. The stones themselves show minimal weathering. They look almost like they were laid yesterday, except for the dirt and ancient patina. But here's the part that fascinates prophecy researchers. The construction quality is exceptional. This wasn't a simple access road. This was built with care, with purpose, with resources. Someone important used this path, or many important people used it. And that raises questions about its purpose. Ancient writings mention pilgrim journeys to the temple, not vague mentions. Specific descriptions. Detailed accounts of the paths people took. Josephus, the Jewish historian who lived during the 1st century, wrote about pilgrim routes. His descriptions match the newly discovered road's characteristics. He mentioned a specific way that pilgrims used to approach the temple. A path that was well maintained. Important enough to document. There's also documentation from Christian pilgrims. People who traveled to Jerusalem during the centuries after Jesus. They wrote about the way of the king. The path is traditionally associated with royal and spiritual processions. These accounts describe stone-paved roads, specific directions, landmarks, and the locations they mention align with where this ancient road was just found. In medieval pilgrim journals, there are drawings, maps sketched by hand, showing routes through Jerusalem's ancient city. These maps show a primary pathway leading to the temple area. The general direction matches the newly discovered road. For centuries, historians assumed these accounts were partially accurate but not completely reliable. Pilgrim accounts are often mixed with spiritual interpretation. They're not technical documents, but they're the only records we have from that period. Now, with actual archaeological evidence, researchers can verify those ancient accounts. The road exists. It's real. The dimensions match descriptions. The direction matches the routes pilgrims described. This validation is significant for multiple reasons. It confirms that ancient writers were accurate. It shows that their descriptions weren't purely imaginary. And it demonstrates that specific pathways were important enough to document across centuries. Jewish scholars have been particularly interested in this. For them, this road represents a connection to their ancestors, to people who walked the same stones thousands of years ago, to a spiritual lineage that's documented in writing and now confirmed in archaeology. But for prophecy watchers, it's more than historical confirmation. It's evidence of something predictive, something foreseen. Now we get to the part that's causing excitement in prophecy communities. Multiple passages in Scripture describe a pathway to the temple during the end times, during what believers call the end of days. Different prophecies in different books describe similar events. A cleared path, a way made straight, access restored. In Isaiah, there's language about preparing a way, about making straight paths, about the coming of a significant figure. Believers interpret this as related to the Messiah's return. In Zechariah, it's more specific. It talks about a day when people will walk through specific gates, when barriers will be removed, when the way will be clear. In Revelation, there are descriptions of events surrounding the Temple Mount during end times, references to a period of restoration, of significance returning to Jerusalem. Now, scholars debate what these prophecies mean. Are they literal? Metaphorical? Will they actually happen? Or did they already happen? But here's what's interesting. For a specific group of believers, this newly discovered road is physical evidence that these prophecies are real, that they might be coming true. They point to the facts. The road was lost. It's been found. The timing coincides with renewed interest in the Temple Mount. Political situations are changing in Jerusalem. Religious tensions are shifting. From their perspective, the pieces are aligning. The prophecies talked about a way being made clear. Suddenly, an ancient way is revealed. The prophecies mentioned specific pathways and gates. Now archaeology is confirming those ancient descriptions. Some prophecy teachers are even more specific. They point to current Israeli policies about the Temple Mount. They note recent construction projects. They observe increasing religious activity in Jerusalem. They see this ancient road discovery as confirmation that something significant is happening. Critics argue this is reading too much into coincidence. That discovering an old road doesn't prove prophecy. That correlation isn't causation. And they have a point. Logically, they do. But try telling that to someone who believes they're watching prophecy unfold in real time. For them, the evidence is mounting. The timeline is suspicious. The details are too precise to ignore. Skeptics have legitimate arguments about this discovery. First, they point out that Jerusalem has been inhabited for thousands of years. Of course there are ancient roads. That's not surprising. Finding an old path doesn't prove prophecy. It just proves people need to get around. Second, they argue that prophecies are written vaguely enough that they can be interpreted to fit any discovery. Someone finds an old road. Suddenly it's connected to a 2,000-year-old prophecy. But confirmation bias is powerful. We see what we want to see. Third, skeptics note that the connection between this road and specific prophecies requires interpretation. The prophecies don't explicitly say, there will be a 12-foot wide stone road in the city of David. Believers are connecting dots that might not actually connect. Fourth, historians point out that multiple roads existed in ancient Jerusalem. This is just one of them. Important, certainly. Historically significant, absolutely. But not uniquely connected to prophecy. These are fair arguments. They deserve consideration. But here's what's interesting. Even skeptics admit the discovery is significant. Even secular archaeologists acknowledge the precision of the construction. Even critics recognize that this road matches ancient descriptions better than expected. The disagreement isn't about whether the road exists. It exists. The disagreement is about what it means. Religious believers see meaning, prophecy fulfillment, confirmation of ancient texts. Skeptics see archaeology, an old road. Interesting, but not miraculous. Both perspectives can coexist. Both can be valid depending on your worldview. What matters for this discussion is that the discovery is real. The road is physical. The dating is accurate. The connection to ancient texts exists, whether you interpret that as prophecy or as historical documentation. The excitement, the debate, the discussion, it's all happening because something tangible was found. So what's the next step? Where does this discovery go from here? Archaeologists have plans for continued excavation. They want to uncover more of the road, trace it further, Map it completely. The initial discovery is just the beginning. There's likely much more to find. They're also studying the surrounding area. What structures were near this road? Were there buildings, markets, gathering places? Understanding the context will provide fuller pictures of life in ancient Jerusalem. Researchers are planning to examine the wall alongside the road more carefully. They want to understand its exact purpose, how it was constructed, how it was maintained. Every detail matters for historical reconstruction. There's also interest in connecting this discovery to other known sites. The Temple Mount itself, the various gates, the different quarters of the ancient city. How did everything connect? What was the layout? What can this road tell us about ancient Jerusalem's organization? Religious organizations are already planning responses. Some are discussing how this discovery validates their historical narratives. Others are considering how to interpret it within their theological frameworks. There will likely be publications, academic papers, theological discussions. Politically, this discovery adds to ongoing conversations about the Temple Mount. It provides historical evidence that the area was significant, that specific pathways mattered, that careful planning existed around access to the temple. These facts will be incorporated into political arguments on different sides. Tourism will absolutely increase. Once excavation is complete, this site will likely become a tourist attraction. Pilgrims and history enthusiasts will want to see it, walk on it potentially, experience this ancient path directly. But here's what's really significant. This discovery opens doors to further research. Questions that couldn't be answered before might now become answerable. Mysteries about ancient Jerusalem might be solved. Historical gaps might be filled. And for prophecy believers, this is just the beginning. They're watching, waiting, believing that more discoveries are coming, that the pattern will continue. Those prophecies will keep finding confirmation in archaeology. Whether that happens remains to be seen. But here's what researchers just discovered. Something they haven't publicly announced yet. Beneath this ancient road, there's another layer, another pathway, even older. Preliminary analysis suggests it dates back even further, possibly to the Bronze Age, thousands of years before Jesus, before even the first temple. If verified, this means something remarkable. Multiple generations of people were drawn to the exact same location, the exact same direction. For thousands of years, people built pathways in this specific spot, toward the Temple Mount. Is that coincidence? Or does it suggest something deeper? Something that transcends centuries? The research continues. The excavation is ongoing. And prophecy watchers are already wondering what this earlier road means. What it implies about the significance of this location. The pieces keep fitting together. But what's the complete picture?